Welcome to DHN. I'm your host, Wade Teamer. In this video, guys, we are going to discuss the wave of regulation that has come to the crypto sector this week. Now, I know what you're thinking. Regulation sometimes means bad news, but I'm going to show you how this is not bad news, and this is actually the moment that we have been waiting for, guys, because there's a pattern. Okay, there's a pattern. Now, we're going to start with the US, but we're going to make our way around to Europe and discuss crypto licensing being consistent across all of the nations over there. We're also going to discuss the South African Reserve Bank issuing guidelines to local banks for their relationships with crypto. And speaking of crypto relationships, our weekly crypto roundup coming out of Africa, guys. A Kenyan startup has been chosen for a Vechain Web3 Accelerator program, guys. This is very big. And we'll also take a trip down to Australia, guys. Australia's Securities Exchange is getting ready to go full blockchain. You're going to want to know the details about that. And then we're going to end the plane by talking about India, guys. Now, India's case is very interesting because they've already migrated to the ISO 20022 platform. Now they want to take it to another level and they want to incorporate blockchain, guys. So again, we're going to go all the way around the world in this video, guys. Let's take a quick look at some of these prices, guys. Bitcoin coming in at 21,461, BNB just under 300 bucks, XRP at 33, Solana, Polkadot, and Polygon also a little bit in the red, but still holding their price movements, guys. I wanted to show you Ethereum. That was just my watch list here, but keeping an eye on Ethereum, especially as we get close to this merge, guys. You can see they're coming in at about 1,600 bucks. They just initiated the first phase of the merge, so very interested to see how Ethereum performs as we get closer to that date, guys. But let's talk some real deep, real nitty-gritty stuff here, okay? Federal Reserve Board provides additional information for banking organizations engaging or seeking to engage in crypto asset related activities. On Tuesday, the board provided additional information for banking organizations that look to work with crypto related asset companies. Now, we touched on this last week in my outside video, but I wanted to come back to it, guys, because there was some confirmations about exactly how this is going to go. But they state that, and this is a reoccurring opinion here, the emerging crypto asset sector presents potential opportunities to banking organizations, their customers, and the overall financial system. However, crypto asset related activities may also pose risk related to safety, soundness, consumer protection, and financial stability, guys. And then this is the document here. Now, our Digit Hustle Diamond members, I actually kicked this out to them this morning, guys. So that's the perks of being on the inside. Pretty much what we have here is guidelines that are going to focus on the technology operations, the technological operations of the crypto asset. So this is going to dramatically shift the focus to the underlying technology. Okay, we're going to step away from the speculation of all these assets and really focus on what they're going to do. Also, you have your anti-money laundering and counterfeit prevention measures, consumer protection and legal compliance, and financial stability, guys. And what these are essentially providing, again, are guidelines that will detail how the big banks and major financial institutions that are coming into crypto, how they will navigate the space. This will also have a very big impact on which crypto asset companies will earn these relationships, guys. You'll see that by the end of this video, the patterns here, a global set of guidelines are being created for this global market. All right, that's really the motivation for why I took the global approach with today's video, guys. And of course, you know the motto, global adoption, global perspective. But let's hop over to Europe, guys, and we'll start to see the similarities right away. So European Central Bank to ensure crypto bank licensing is consistent across Europe. Yesterday, the European Central Bank outlined the broad push process needed to vet banks that want to get involved in crypto asset activities. It wants to ensure the licensing process is consistent across Europe, noting that several German banks have requested licensing for some activities. Now, we need to pause right here because several German banks have requested licensing for some activities. I want to take you back to the German special funds, guys. This was a mandate that went out last summer that allowed German banks to increase their exposure to crypto activities. This would explain the slight delay in maybe developments and progression that's coming from that particular area. They have to deal with the fragmentation of policies. This is going to change that, guys. That's another thing too. What's one of the things that's holding back effective crypto regulation is that it's different from country to country. All right. And you'll see here in a second that now this week, okay, this year, really, the guidelines are coming out and they're being established and they all follow the same criteria. For the most part, guys, let's keep going. Now, I like this sentence here because this is exactly what I told the members this morning. It is not a coincidence that a day earlier, the U.S. Federal Reserve published a letter requesting that banks inform the central bank before undertaking crypto asset activities and outlining the self-assessment process. However, in the EU, it's a bit different because they're moving towards sustainably regulating the sector with its market in crypto assets regulation, also known as MiCA. This was provisionally approved at the end of June of this summer. So they're a few steps ahead of the United States when it comes to regulation. Theirs is more so already on paper. It's already in a folder somewhere ready to be processed. But that's just a story around the world. That's what makes the US, their entrance into the crypto regulation narrative, so important. Now, here is just a few of the guidelines that the ECB is setting forth, and you'll start to see the similarities here. Business models and their risk profile, internal governments, fit and proper assessments, particularly around IT competence. This means information technology. How are they managing the data that they consume? Here's something else that you might be interested in, especially if you're holding crypto.com. When it comes to IT competence, crypto.com has the ISO certification. The ISO certification that comes from Europe. So there's a plug right there, guys. But digging deeper, we'll discover that there's a certain committee that's kind of kicking out these guidelines, these statutes to different banks and nations around the world, guys. And we're talking about the Basel Committee. Okay, now take a minute when you get some time, not today, maybe tomorrow, and maybe this weekend, but look into Basel 3. Okay, Basel 3 is a very important keyword because when you start to look into that, you'll really start to get a glimpse of this global financial shift. But continuing, regarding capital requirements, the International Basel Committee is currently assessing the balance sheet rules for banks participating in crypto and blockchain activities. It's in the process of conducting a second round of consultations, guys. So the Basel Committee, very big player behind the scenes, really, in this whole financial transition. And also, we're seeing the same sets of guidelines be established by the biggest nations in the crypto market. And on the subject of one of the biggest nations, it's time to go to Africa, guys. So as we get ready for this big report on Africa for the month, guys, I love how there are more and more stories coming out about it to just add to the whole presentation, and it's going to be a good one. But South African Republic Bank issues crypto guidelines for their local banks. Let's see what it entails, right? So, in guidelines released by the Reserve Bank's Prudential Authority, the SARB stated that financial institutions should not place an overall ban on cryptocurrencies, but instead call for banks to conduct due diligence when dealing with clients that have digital assets. The guidelines advise banks to employ anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing for all crypto transactions. The guidelines were issued after some banks closed clients' accounts that owned cryptocurrencies, citing a lack of appropriate regulations to govern the sector. Now, in July, SRB Deputy Governor confirmed that the country will roll out crypto regulations over the next 12 to 18 months and said that it would not identify them as a payment option, but rather as a financial asset that can be utilized in the mainstream sector. Okay, again, guys, you see here the importance of crypto regulation. Why you should not fear it is because once it happens, that's the key word right there, mainstream. All right, I'm getting so excited about this mainstream bull run, guys, because nobody has seen it. It will be ours exclusively. All of the previous influencers that you see in the space, guys, they caught the initial one, the first bull run, the introductory bull run. The mainstream run? Okay, he added that the SARB plans to develop a regulatory framework for South African exchanges to allow crypto listings, which would include traditional banking regulations such as know your customer rules and exchange control regulations. Another thing too, if you're new to the space, guys, you're gonna hear a lot of people talk bad about KYC. If KYC wasn't a thing, you wouldn't be able to claim your money in the event something goes wrong. That is why you see Binance, Coinbase, FTX, and now even KuCoin is starting to verify identities, okay? Because it's, yes, on both sides, all right? You have mismanagement by the crypto exchange, okay? But you also have mismanagement by the individual players involved. That is why crypto cold wallet storage are so important. Cold wallets are so important in crypto, guys. And again, I just want to reiterate this. These are necessary evils that we must go through if you want to make money in this space. Okay? Everybody's still coming in looking to find that quick buck. Well, I'm going to tell you, you'll get it, but it won't be easy. It will not be easy, guys. And it's largely because it's not just this crypto thing is not just a phenomenon of making money. All right? It's the initial stages to a digital transformation that we as society, all of us, are going to see unfold over the next 10 years. All right. And one of those things are going to be CBDCs that the South African Reserve Bank is looking to introduce in 2023, guys, as soon as March of 2023. So as you can see here, guys, I hope I've made this known to you that crypto regulation, as daunting as doom and gloom as it may sound, is not exactly a bad thing. Now, since we're on the subject of Africa, guys, let's hop over and discuss this Kenyan startup being chosen for Vechain's Web3 Accelerator program. Guys, it's just a quick read, but it's still very interesting nonetheless. Now, CryptSense Digital Group, a Kenyan-based digital assets building and management platform, has been selected to participate in the Draper Vechain Web3 Accelerator that will give the startup access to mentorship and support. The startup is a brainchild of the Africa Blockchain Center, one of the startups in Adanian Labs, a venture studio that aims to establish, nurture, and scale 300 impact-driven tech startups across Africa. CryptSense Digital Group offers end-to-end solutions for the institutional adoption of blockchain and crypto assets in Africa. So what we have here is a company that is participating in this accelerator with the ambition, with the goal of becoming a platform that institutions in Africa can go to safely to engage into the crypto space. And it appears that they will be building applications on the Vechain blockchain, guys. The program will provide the selected blockchain and Web3 startups with the needed support to get all the industry mentorship and support necessary to scale their impactful solutions around the world, guys. Now, you see, there is another story here from Africa. I have a separate video that I'm going to cover that specifically. But what I want you to take away from this, guys, while we jump over to this Draper article detailing the accelerator, is that the ecosystem in Africa is being built out. Okay, it is being flushed out, guys, and is being flushed out by some very big players. This story brought to my attention the fact that Tim Draper is seriously invested in crypto, guys, because this Web3 Accelerator is just one of many. Okay, so the 4-week Vechain Fellowship Certificate Program is going to teach registrants about entrepreneurship and blockchain basics in order to help them create their own Web3 firm using the Vechain Thor public blockchain. Draper University will then choose roughly a dozen to continue on to the Vechain Web3 Accelerator, where each will earn $100,000 in capital in exchange for a 5% equity position in their firm. So not only is Tim Draper providing education, opportunity, and resources, but he's taking 5% for himself. That is indicative of not only his personal vision for the sector, but in addition to that $100,000 in capital, graduates are also presented to the Draper network of investors, which is 18 global funds that could potentially invest with them. And it's not just on Vechain, guys. Draper University also organized similar events for Tezos and Algorand. That's very big, guys. And in my report on Africa, I am seeing that, yes, Vechain is there. Algorand is there. Tezos, not as much, but hey, it's only a matter of time, guys. Let's jump over to Australia real quick, guys. The Australia Securities Exchange investing $150 million in blockchain stock settlement system. So they have been working on a stock settlement system for about 6 years, guys. This whole thing was started in 2016, largely with the help of software developer Digital Asset. That's a firm, not a token. They are expected to have this completed by 2024 at the latest. And what makes this so important is that the Australian Securities Exchange is the equivalent of the DTCC, Depository Trust and Clearinghouse, here in the United States. Now, if you don't know who the DTCC is, pretty much, if you go to trade a stock, they are the entity responsible for making sure that you get what you pay for when it comes to stocks, bonds, securities, all these other things, right? And what's interesting about that is that a few months back, I reported on how the DTCC, with the help of corporations like Hyperledger and R3 is related to Quarter will bring you XDC, so forth and so on. But the DTCC, through the help of those partners, are looking to build a DLT-based securities platform. So they can start taking some of that $7.5 trillion, $8, $9, $10 trillion that they move around the world per day. They're going to start registering all of that on the blockchain, guys. So now we're seeing that here in the United States. Now we're seeing it in Australia. And we're also going to see it in India, ladies and gentlemen. India's primary payment rail, NPCI, is calling for an Indian blockchain platform. Now, so many things makes this particular story very interesting is because, like I mentioned in the beginning, India is already under ISO 20022. They jumped on in 2016. Okay? Very crazy, right? But when you take a look at India's economy, it's not surprising. A lot of things are way more advanced than they are over here, especially when it comes to retail and payments. But let's dive deep, guys. Let's get some more information. So the CEO of the National Payments Corporation of India, Dilip Asbi, publicly called for an Indian blockchain platform in an opinion piece to the Indian Express. The NPCI was established by the Reserve Bank of India and commercial banks and operates all of India's major payment rails, including the UPI. What he is proposing, guys, and this is what makes it interesting, the second piece that makes it interesting, they're looking to use layer 2s and layer 1 solutions. All right, so we're not just talking about, okay, for example, Ethereum would be considered the layer 0, Polygon would be considered the layer 1, and something like Arbitrum, Optimism, or Immutable X would be a layer 2. All right, so what they want to use, and we'll just let him describe here, They state the ideal solution to solving most of the known issues of decentralized technologies lies in the middle path, i.e., a national platform operating at layer 1 that interconnects blockchains, both permissioned and public, application providers, token service providers, and infrastructure managers. Together, they can form a reliable and efficient network for the Indian digital economy. He goes on to suggest that if layer 2 blockchains integrate with the layer 1 national network, they won't need to integrate with each other. India's blockchain platform is described as of the people, for the people, by the people. That's real. I like that. I like that right there, guys. So what they're proposing, the MPCI, again, which is the lead orchestrator runner of India's payment system, they're looking to create a layer 2, layer 1 type of relationship here. So let me just throw a hypothetical at you. HBAR is very big in India. All right, and it's mainly because IT Madras, one of the biggest universities over there, is a Hedera council member. Hedera, their public blockchain, keyword there, public blockchain, just open source their technology. So if India doesn't directly choose Hedera as the base layer, it could definitely be one of the layers that runs through India. This also can imply that an XRP, a Stellar Lumens, and XDC could also run parallel to what India is looking to propose, guys. So this to me is evidence that the next stage is exactly what we have been looking for, is that these nations are building out infrastructures, and these tokens that we follow are the ones that will work within these infrastructures. Again, it's a global payment system that's being created here, guys, and a lot of people do not understand that. A lot of people do not understand that, guys. But just a quick last note here, the Reserve Bank of India is planning to use blockchain and other technologies for the phased issuance of a central bank digital currency by March of 2023. They plan on using blockchain and DLT for their CBDC rollout. I've heard the same story come out of China, guys. I've heard the same stories coming from the United States. We've already been on top of that storyline. So again, what you need to take away from this video is that this is a global narrative. This is a global situation, and it's going to show global transformation. All right, it's going to show global transformation, guys. But don't forget to check out the link for the DHN Crypto Journal for 2022. It's the last crypto notebook you'll ever need. While you're at it, I want you to have a great day, have a prosperous day, and most importantly, if the money is digital, so is the hustle. I'll see you in the next video.